Move over classic pecan pie, you've been veganized and transformed into maple cream bars. This recipe contains gorgeous pure maple syrup, is gluten-free, and includes a nut-free option. Give me a few minutes and I'll show you how easy it is to make with your choice of filling mix-ins and base crust ingredients. The creation of the bars was inspired by my popular one-ingredient maple cream recipe. If you haven't seen that video yet, do make sure to watch it afterwards. When boiling the maple syrup, you will need a candy thermometer, and unbleached parchment paper comes in really handy too. The rest of the tools are listed in the recipe post, as you will probably have them on hand. To make the base crust, it's as simple as combining the flaxseed meal and hot water and giving it a quick whisk. You can then add the rest of the base crust ingredients, including the maple syrup. The vanilla extract or vanilla bean powder is optional. And a great tip before you add your gluten-free flour blend is to give it a quick whisk, especially if you made your own custom blend to break up any clumps. You can mix it a little and then add the vegan butter and then mix again until well combined. You will need the oven twice for this recipe, so don't forget to preheat it to 350 degrees. The dough mixture for the base crust will be soft, and that is perfectly fine. It will make it much easier to spread out evenly in your baking dish. You can use a soft spatula or even a small piece of parchment paper to help you. I decided to get a little fancy and decorate the edge of my crust, but it wasn't really necessary because once you add the filling, it kind of hides it anyways. So do what makes you happy. Now the fun part, let's make the sweet filling. Have your mix-ins and remaining ingredients ready before you start boiling your maple syrup. And please note, you have two filling options, the all-in option A or basic option B. When boiling maple syrup, it is very important that you stay right beside your stove. You want to boil it on a medium to low heat, and you want to do so until it reaches 235 degrees Fahrenheit. This can take about 10 minutes or so. Have a large bowl or pot of ice cubes ready to help you cool your boiled maple syrup to 90-95 degrees Fahrenheit. The next few steps will look a little different depending on if you're making basic option B, which is only boiled maple syrup and your choice of add-ins, or all-in option A, which includes coconut cream to replace the eggs and dairy that you would traditionally add to a classic pecan pie recipe. Adding a little extra flaxseed meal also helps to thicken the mixture, but it's not always necessary. And of course, if you have a nut allergy, do not use pecans. Instead, add allergy-free mix-ins such as seeds, unsweetened shredded coconut, gluten-free oats, dark chocolate, or even dried fruits. The quantity of the mix-ins you add in will also vary based on the thickness of your boiled maple syrup and the consistency of your filling mixture. See the recipe for tips and detailed instructions. For the video, I wanted to show you half with pecans and the other half with only allergen-friendly mix-ins. For a gooier filling, adding 2 cups of nuts could be enough, all depending on if you also add the coconut cream, which does create a much creamier texture. As a tip, consider keeping some nuts whole and chopping up the rest. If adding a combination of mix-ins, combine 2 cups and a little extra if necessary until you reach the right consistency. You want it to be a bit runny, but not liquid. The pecan part in the video was runnier, but really good once baked. The other half reminds me of layered everything bars, which I loved as a kid. What do you think? Are you team pecans, team seed combo, or team chocolate combination? Please share in the comments. Also, I didn't show it earlier, but if you have a few extra minutes, pan toasting or roasting the nuts, seeds, and even the shredded coconut is a very nice touch, but it's not necessary. To show you, I did test making a half batch with only the boiled maple syrup and mix-ins. The consistency for that version was much thicker, and I would say stickier as well. and I chose to bake it in a rectangular tart tin, which was nice, but if you were to do the same, please use larger sheets of parchment paper and have them overhang by at least an inch all around. Doing so will make your life much easier when it comes to taking it out of the tin. Alternatively, you could use an 8 or 9-inch baking dish. Also note that this smaller, simpler, basic option B version baked for 20 minutes. Another great tip, just in case, is to place a baking sheet under the baking dish or on the bottom rack to catch any drippage, as no one wants to clean sticky maple syrup at the bottom of their oven. And do me a favor, pure maple syrup is expensive, and I will not judge if you scrape your pot and enjoy every lick. The edges will start to bubble and get darker when it's time to consider removing the bars from the oven. If the center of the filling is too wobbly and doesn't look set, leave it for longer, but consider covering the side edges to prevent overbaking. Once ready, cool the bars directly into the baking dish and then refrigerate until you are ready to slice and serve. Doing so is best, especially if your filling is a bit gooier. Once at room temperature, the filling will get softer if the bars have fewer mix-ins. This dessert freezes very well, so go ahead and make some now, slice them, and freeze away for later. I hope you give this special gluten-free, vegan, and allergen-friendly treat a try. Once you do, rate the recipe and share your feedback in the comments of the video or recipe post. Thank you for watching.